Miss Ericka Lalka, thank you for joining me today on Grow Your Market Center with Alexis Halikas, myself. How are you?
I'm great, and it's my pleasure, Alexis. I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
Yes, it's been a while. For those who are listening, Eric and I have worked together for many moons. We still stay in close communication, and I am just so excited to have her on today. She is a wealth full of knowledge when it comes to growing your market center brokerage. So, let me introduce you, Erica, if you don't mind, because I'm sure I will do a fabulous job. And
Yes, you will.
I can't wait to brag about you, and I know you would be way too humble to do so. So, Erica is quite a success. She's passionate about helping people build and live a life by design. She has over 34 years of real estate industry experience, sold over $1 billion in real estate, and had explosive growth in her business during the last 2008 shift. Currently, she leads one of the largest real estate brokerages in Southeast Washington with a combined size of over 120 agents covering Moses Lake, Ephrata, Tri-Cities, and Walla Walla. She is connected with other strong leaders who have a desire to collaborate, strategize, and execute on delivering value to those we are in business with, she says. She is a wife, mom of 4, and grandma of 7. I still can't believe that. Loves Jesus and her country and is serving through leadership. Erica, welcome.
Thank you. So close, Ephrata, but I might even be wrong. It's not easy.
It's
But
not
I love
easy.
that you took the courage to take a guess.
I love
So,
it. No, I love it. I love it. And you've had so much success. Anybody who is listening, whether you are with Keller Williams, not with Keller Williams, with a different brokerage, and you're a brokerage owner yourself, or you're in charge of growing your brokerage through recruits, agents, and profitability, this is where you want to be today. So, Erica, kick me off. I would love to know, as well as I'm sure those who are listening, one major success that you have had in the role and what you attribute to that success.
well, I would say one of my major successes was honestly just being able to make that move from success to significance and launching a market center that was an award-winning market center in Keller Williams. You have the opportunity to win what's called the home run launch, and it's not usual. And not everybody does that. And so being able to have a home run launch and actually launch a brokerage from the ground up. My husband, who is an integral part of my business, he and I joined Keller Williams in the Tri-Cities at the time when there was 3 agents. And within 3 years, we had over 100 agents, and we achieved the Triple Crown, which was the largest brokerage in the area with the agent count, volume, and units. So that was an incredible achievement, and I attribute this success really, of course, to the people around me. Right, success through others. So
Yeah,
we
I
have
love
an
that.
incredible launching group of core investors, and things have changed over the years, but still love to attribute my success to the people around me.
I love that. You are the top 5 people you surround yourself with most, right? That's so awesome.
Absolutely.
And congrats. I don't know if I even, as long as I've known you, I don't know if I realize that. That is so
Well,
huge. Now I do. I
yeah.
love that. That is so huge. Thank you for sharing that. What is one of the things, you talk about success through others, etc. And I know you're fabulous at delegation as well as leverage. What is one of the things that you consistently do that has gotten you to the success and the place you are today?
Well, thank you. I don't know how good I am at leverage. I do like to have my hands on everything. And the honest answer to that is I had a business partner who was really good at focusing me on the one thing that is necessary in this role.
Okay.
And in this role, we want to do everything, right? We want to definitely get caught up in the administrative aspect of things. You'll hear, well, retention is recruiting, and I haven't found that to be accurate. So focusing on building those relationships and recruiting agents by putting my butt in the chair and making the calls. And those calls look different, right? Sometimes it's a cold call. Sometimes it's a follow-up call to an agent who's newly licensed. As you're launching a market center, it's just you, right?
Mhm.
You don't have an ATL. You don't have anyone else making those recruiting calls. So you're calling everyone from those you're enrolling into K-Score all the way up to the 20, 30, $40 million producers. And so really having to systemize that, which by the way, you were very helpful in helping me create a lot of those systems, and being able to make those calls every day, including calling my people, right? And inviting them to share with me how I could help them grow their wealth through, of course, profit share. And getting those names from them. So just really systemizing and calling people every day. My goal was to set 4 appointments a day, 2 with R2s every day. And that's how I knew I succeeded.
I love that. I love that. Tell me, because I know how I set up my calendar. Tell me, for those that are listening, one question that I get from a lot of brokerage owners and leadership when it comes to growth is, how do you structure your calendar? So do you separate lead generation from follow-up? Tell me a little bit about your time blocking for those that are listening and wondering the same thing. When you're making all these different calls to these different people, how do you know who to call and when?
Well, that's a great question, and a lot has changed. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what I did as a team leader, but I am now, great news, I've hired a team leader, and so I continue to be the operating principal at Keller Williams Tri-Cities, and I, of course, am bored. So not only am I back to selling in my own business, which I love, but I am also leading the way as running the PC program. So very excited to have launched a PC program recently, and I'm leading that a little bit differently. We won't get into that today. And here's how I do it. It is in one single block, and it all depends on how long it takes, right? The reality is, as we said I said a moment ago, that I want 4 appointments a day. So my lead gen looks like in the morning, right? We're lead genning, let's say from 9 to 11, and I'm lead genning until I get those 4 appointments. And then I'm lead following up. And lead follow-up is very important. It's where all the gold is, right? So if I did not get to lead follow-up, then I would have to find more time in my calendar, which sometimes meant not working until 5, but working until 7. So I knew that in order for me to live a life by design, which is very important to me, that I was going to have to get way better at setting those appointments. So of course I got coaching. I just sought out any area of resource that I could use in order to help me set those appointments. And I got to the point where I was at about a 50-50. If you answered the phone, there was at least a 50% chance. And I would say, honestly, Alexis, today, 90% of the people that pick up the phone make an appointment with me. And that just comes over time, right? And then the rest of it's in the lead follow-up. But now I am lead genning and lead following up for new agents. I'm the perfect PC coach. I recruit for the company. And I'm lead genning in my business. So those are separate items on the calendar. Otherwise, it's real easy to not achieve all of it.
Yep. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And the OPs that are listening right now and the team leaders even that are listening right now going, now that is one involved OP, right? I mean, that is lead generating for the company, such a high priority, right? And the fact that you give yourself the time allotted to book 4 appointments a day, right? I mean, I think is so fantastic. And the fact that you're a PC, and I know you're a great one at that. So awesome. I love that. That is some really great calendaring tips from you. Thank you. So what is a piece of advice that you've received in this role that you cannot live without? And you've been doing this, you've been in this industry for 34 years, so you can give it some thought.
Well, it's funny. I was poor at reading these questions in advance, but I actually gave this information out in the meeting today, and that is, I remember when one of our investors and the OP at the time, who did such a great job of just sharing with me different perspectives. And the perspective was that being a team leader is no different than being a mega agent, because I came into the role as a mega agent. And I fought that advice. And today I can realize it's so true, right? Like when we're talking about setting up the calendar, when I was a mega agent, I set up my calendar to lead gen in the morning, and I set the appointments in the afternoon. So if I have a certain goal, I just backed into how many appointments I needed, and I could, again, build my life by design that way, which allowed me to work Monday through Friday, basically from 8 until 5:30, and half a day taken off on Thursday to spend time with my girls as a real estate agent. And I would fill those appointments with clients. And if I didn't, then I would go back to lead genning, because so many of us as team leaders will either not appropriately time block, or that time will come when they're supposed to have an appointment and they'll think, well, I don't have an appointment, so I'll go walk around. I'll go check in with the DFI. I'll go see if the MCA needs something. I'll go see what my team needs. Yeah. Your team needs you to grow the company. Yep. And so if I didn't have an appointment or I got a no-show, I went back to lead genning. It's no different than how I handled my real estate business, and it's exactly how I was able to hit, 750,000 plus a year in GCI, because I knew that time was precious and it had to be used on a regular basis for the highest dollar producing activity that I could do, which is lead gen and lead follow-up. And so yes, being a team leader is just like being a mega agent. If you're in the role and you've never been a mega agent, go spend some time with your mega agents.
Yep. And at least do what they did when they started, right? I know a lot of mega agents now, especially ones that I've worked with personally, right, who are like, oh, I don't lead generate anymore. Well, yeah, I mean, they've probably earned that right by building a referral business over the last 10 years of lead generating, right? And our market centers and brokerages grow the exact same way. It's staying consistent over time with the lead generation and the lead follow-up, right? Fortunes in the follow-up. I love that. Yeah. That's great advice. Yeah. That's great advice.
Well, and I think we should think of lead gen not necessarily as cold calling, right? Like lead generation could genuinely be just having that conversation with an agent in your office about building their team and how you can help them attract people to the team this year, or how you can help them grow their downline. So we don't have to think of lead gen as sitting in the chair and making calls. In fact, most people will not do that. That is something I do very well. I do a lot of it. But you have to find the piece that you'll do consistently, because I truly believe that the opportunity is in the activity.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And and you do it really well, right? I mean, for those that are listening right now, especially those who have worked with me, know that statistically the average is 5 conversions to 1 appointment set. For a lot of my clients, I like to hold them to a standard of 3 to 1, every 3 conversations, 1 appointment set, and that's through the mastery of scripting, objection handling, etc. You're at a 90% conversion on conversations to appointments set, you said earlier, which I can attest she is lethal on the phones. Again, consistency over time. She has never been afraid, Ericka, to get your hands dirty, to get the best scripts, to master the objections, to never take the first or second no, and to really go through that third. What would you say your biggest tip is for somebody who's listening and is just beating their head against a wall, going like, how on earth, I can barely get somebody to agree to an appointment, and here you are booking at a 90%. Besides consistency, or additionally, what would be your biggest piece of feedback for somebody who would want to get better conversions on conversations to appointment set?
Well, again, I would get a coach for sure, and find out why you're not getting the appointment, right? For me, building that validity helped, right? I was well known in the community, but then I moved to Spokane, where I didn't know anybody. And I still recruited 143 people in the first year with my team, of course. That's a lot of people. One of the things I've been honored with is being in the top 3 every single year that I've been in this role, whether it was in the Tri-Cities or whether it was in Spokane, in recruiting. And that doesn't happen on accident. But the tip really is that when you think about, again, being a mega agent, how many calls does it take before someone will agree to work with you? So it's the consistency and the consistency in the follow-up. However, it's the soft skills in the conversation, right? And that's where your coach comes in. Being able to bring value, being able to ask the questions that bring value, being able to really deliver on what you said you would. There is always a reason why someone is going to be willing to meet with you. You just have to uncover it, and asking great questions is how you get there. And if you don't have the great questions to ask, then find the resource for asking the right questions.
Yeah, I love that. I get asked that question all the time. And I always say my biggest, shortest piece of feedback is always, don't ever take the first no. The first no is the world peace no. You to them, that if you don't have rapport, if this is a warm call, it's different. But if you are cold calling people to join your brokerage, join your mega agent team, whatever it is, growth is what we're talking here, right? And it's cold and you don't have a relationship, 99% of the time you are going to get no right out of the gates. Your first opportunity to try to sit down with the person, they are just wired. We as people are wired to say no. The second one, it increases a little bit, or decreases a little bit in terms of they kind of like reduce their walls. Breaking through that third no objection is absolutely key and shoots up people's conversion rates on conversations to appointments set. And personally, my favorite objection handler on a third no objection, no matter what the objection is, hey, Ericka, don't you at least owe it to yourself to find out what you're saying no to? And like clockwork every time, right? Because you're not telling them what they should do. You're not telling them what they need to do or this or that. You're actually just putting it back on them and asking them a very powerful question, which ties in exactly what Ericka's advice just was. Powerful questions.
Absolutely. And I actually am really loving Phil Wells, I believe it is. No, not Phil Wells. Phil, exactly what to say. What is that guy's last name? I have the book right over there.
Yes, exactly. Do I have it behind me? No. I was like, I very well could. I'm blanking, but yes. She's looking it up.
Well, what's funny is, yes, I am. What's funny is it's Phil Jones. We have a Phil Wells in the Spokane office. So Phil Jones. Sorry, Phil Wells. Maybe you're famous now. Putting it out there differently, right? Most people I speak to find they'd like to know exactly what they're saying no to, right? Or most people like, so either way, being able to practice that. The reality is some people are incredibly naturally talented. And if I'm being honest, that's definitely not me. I had to work at it. So if you get into this role and you're like, wow, this is so much harder than I thought, it just means that you're less naturally talented than you thought. But that's okay. Because how many of us have met agents, and please don't take this the wrong way, where you're like, how in the heck did that person become so successful?
Sure.
Practice.
And I think personally, you probably find anybody in any industry where you go, whoa, wow, how did that person, oh my gosh. And you're right. It's consistency, it's mastery, it's practice. I could not agree more. And you are so funny. You are so naturally gifted. I would argue with that. And
that's because it's been 34 years.
There you go.
Met me when I was first a team leader. And can I just say, honestly, when I was initially a team leader, again, having a great coach in place of not stopping me and having a great OP who just let me go with it, I was the worst recruiter in the planet. I mean, it's embarrassing. I look back and I actually had someone tell me straight to my face, like they of course later joined the company, but straight to my face was like, this is terrible. Like, I feel like you're puking on me all about Keller Williams. And I was like, oh, they warned us about this, you know? And so, yes, I was terrible in the beginning, but I was fearless. And so I guess that'd be my second piece of advice. Like, people aren't actually saying no to you. They're saying no to exactly what you said, an opportunity, and they don't even know what that opportunity is. So you owe it to that agent, if you truly believe where you're at and who you are and what you stand for and what you're dedicating your life to, you owe it to that agent to break through that third no. I like to do it in the first conversation, but if I can't, then I get a commitment that they know that I'm going to call them again. And I usually will say something along the lines of, would you be interested in me reaching back out to you when we bring in some phenomenal teaching? But one of the things I say is like, okay, you don't want to meet with me, but I'm building out my training calendar because I always am. Yep. What's the one class that you would absolutely attend under any and all circumstances? Like, dream big, right? Like, maybe it's Grant Cardone. I don't know. Who would you come see? Right? And then they'll give me that information, and then I'll call back and say, we're bringing in that class because we'll make it happen. And then I'm like, and can I meet with you? Because that was such a great idea. Can we talk about more trainings that might be beneficial? So there's always a way. You just have to be patient and be a good listener.
I love that. And I just hope that so many people, so many team leaders, so many OPs tune into this, because there's been so many golden nuggets within this and so much motivation. And I just feel like so much vulnerability. And I want to thank you because I talk with, as you know, a lot of team leaders, a lot of leadership, a lot of OPs, and I think we forget that we're all human and we all started at one point. Was I great at closing? No, not in the beginning. I was challenged. I had great mentors, great coaches, and it took me time, and I've been in the industry now for over a decade, and I have so many of those individuals like you to thank. Thank you for sharing just some of your trials, tribulations, successes. If you had to leave everybody, because you've given some great advice, if you had to leave everybody with one piece of just a nugget, knowledge, just those that that are listening right now, that you wish somebody would have told you earlier than 34 years into your career, what would that one thing be?
Well, I don't know necessarily that it's something I wish someone would have told me, but I would say, I do this because I love what I do and I love the people. And being a team leader is not for everyone. It is truly life-changing. In this office, we have people whose marriages have been reconciled. We have people who have become debt-free. We have people who have recovered from drug and alcoholism. This is my ministry. These are my people. And so if you're looking to be a great team leader, yes, the numbers have to make sense. Sure. But if your heart is not in loving these people, loving them in the hardest times. This weekend, there's an agent we have that's not in the office anymore that I consider a dear friend, and we drove 2 hours to go to a funeral because I would not miss that, because love shows up. And so if you can't show up ready to love people, then you're not going to grow the market center that anybody really wants. I think about the trust triangle a lot. It talks about logic, talks about authenticity, and it talks about empathy. And you owe it to the people that you lead to be a trustworthy leader, and you owe it to them to love them. And so for me, it's the secret ingredient that allows me to show up and do what I do every day. If I didn't love these people, then I wouldn't do this job. And I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity. Incredibly grateful that we have what we have today, and I think that that's really all I can say. It's love. Love makes the world go round. I don't know, corny. Feel free to cut that piece out.
No, I love it.
I love these people, and I think you attract those same people. It's not just me. In the building, we all love each other, and that is amazing. And that culture actually is what allows us to heal through challenging times, succeed in difficult times, and also attracts the agents that should be here, and candidly pushes the agents out that should not. Because in this building, we love each other.
That is so eloquently put and beautifully said. I will not be cutting any of this out. Thank you. Thank you for talking about the importance and getting away from just the numbers, and the importance of why we do what we do. And servant leadership is a real thing. And if you're feeling like this, message speaks to you today, Ericka, where can those listening find you if they want more of you?
Well, I'm probably working. But feel free to reach out. I swear I'm going to grow my engagement more in the world outside of this building, but you're welcome to call me anytime. I will absolutely answer. You can call me at 509-539-5535. I am on Facebook on occasion. I am on Instagram on occasion. But mostly you're going to find me out doing real world life things, hanging out most likely with one of my agents, doing something a lot of fun.
I love that. We will definitely be posting this episode, of course, sending it out to all team leaders, OPs, and leadership, as well as for those that follow me on social media, I will be tagging Ericka. So if you would like to see more of her and follow along her journey, feel free to click a follow button on her accounts. And thank you for joining us, Ericka. I just sincerely appreciate you, your vulnerability, your perception, your perspectives, your everything that you've shared today. There's been so many golden nuggets, and I just want to thank you. Thank you for being you.
Thank you.
Awesome.